Welcome everyone to a new season of the third tier of the GP4 Offline Championship. Here is the first round of the GP4 DTM Offline Championship here at the Hockenheim circuit in Germany. And I'm your commentator, George Roke, and we're here for the first round at Hockenheim, where after last season, Renz Jans, who went up into the top tier of the GP4 OC, having won this championship. It'll be interesting to see, as we have a lot of new names, a few familiar faces, but a lot of new names in this championship. So it'll be very interesting to see how this series goes. There have been also a lot of calendar changes and, as I said, a lot of driver changes, so it should be very interesting to see how the season goes. We've got a number of former OC/current OC drivers in there. We've got a lot of new drivers, and we've got a lot of nationalities in this series, so it should be very interesting to see how this goes for the first race of the season. As you can see, we are racing on the new layout, I should say, of the Hockenheim ring, and not the old one, which is a shame because, unfortunately, the new layout is not particularly good. But anyway, here is the grid. So on pole is Andrea Federi with Victor Bobo second place, and third place is Zolga, and fourth place is Julius Anderson. Fifth place is Levente Dobos, and sixth place is Hakan Sam. Seventh place is Thomas Lubers, and eighth place is Marcus Sacchi. Ninth place is Azul Zafri, and 10th is Eli Bright, I should say. Killian Bryce is 11th, and Jordan Maturian, the former two Virgin teammates, on the 6th row of the grid. 13th place is Arlo Jones, followed by Luca Farina, 14th. 15th is Finley Strachan, followed by Cameron Anderson in 16th. Rick Jan, 17th, and followed by Ryan Kuba in 18th. 19th and 20th is Alexander Zemsik and Owen Griffiths. And 21st and 22nd, Diego Martinez and Etienne Jones. So that is the grid for first race of the season, and the weather, as you can see, is bright sunshine. So we are now on the grid. So Federi is on pole, Bobo is second, Zolga in third. Let's have a look to see who will get the jump into turn one. We are now 3 lights, 4 lights, and we now have 5 lights. It's a relatively long hold, and the lights are out, and away we go. And it looks like Federi's got a good start. Bobo has not made a particularly brilliant start, but Federi looks to have got the jump as they head into turn 1. Is Bobo going to keep second place from Zolga? And I think Zolga's got around the outside of him, and has he taken second place? I think he has, or has he? It's still side by side. No, he's had to back off. Bobo pushes Zolga wide, and Zolga has dropped down to third. Bobo's got back second place, and now that's given the chance for Levente Dobos to make his way into third place as they head towards turn 2. And will everyone make it through? Let's have a look and see. It looks like they are, as Bryce is now on the inside. There's about 2 or 3 wide, but ages going on throughout this pack, and they seem to have all made it through. As we look at Luca Farina, there's Rick Jan, Ryan Kuba, Cameron Anderson, and it looks like everyone has made it through safe and sound. As Martinez, we're looking at Martinez in 19th, as Griffiths has dropped to the back, but Federi's made a great start. He's got already a fairly big lead over Bobo in second, Levente Dobos third, Zolga fourth, Anderson fifth, Sarchi in sixth, Sam seventh, Bryce in eighth, but Lobos is trying to overtake him coming into the hairpin. Is he going to make it stick? It looks like he is. So Lobos up to 8th, Bryce down to 9th. Bright 12th and Finley Strachan 11th, I believe that was, as they come through the hairpin. And once again, everyone seems to have made it through pretty safe and sound as we look at Zemsik, Ryan Kuba, Griffiths at the back. All made it through unscathed as they head through. As you look at Adam Federi, the race leader, the Italian driver, as he comes into the end of the second set. He's got a 2.5 second lead over Victor Bobo, as there's a Bobo behind with Levente Dobos relatively close behind. And let's see if Federi can keep this lead up. We have 37 laps of this race, so this race will go on for at least an hour. So let's have a look to see what happens come at the end of the race. But as Federi comes around, he will lead the first lap of Season 2 of the DTM Offline Championship. And he sets the fastest lap, a 1:28.5. Bobo in second, with Dobos behind in third. Here he comes through turn 1, with Zolga in fourth. As they head into turn 2. Bobo, who looks like the Dobos behind him, is set to close up on him. As now here is Jordan Maturian trying to get past Finley Strachan for 11th place, I should say, and it's side by side, and Maturian can't quite do it. Strachan holds it around the outside of the Mercedes, and Maturian in the Audi has to back off, and now that gives a chance for Rick Jan behind him. Jan's got a whole bunch of drivers on his back, and now Jan's trying to make a move into the hairpin, and it's now said to be 3 wide. There's 3 wide cars going 3 wide going into the hairpin. And that's surely not going to work out very well as they go into the hairpin. And they come around, and there's contact, and Strachan's around. I think that was Rick Jan that went into the side of him, and Strachan's been pushed around the hairpin, and he's got back going, but he's dropped down to 15th. That was unbelievably dramatic. Unfortunately, you could see that coming. Strachan, who was all in his own world, and that was, I believe, it was Rick Jan who unfortunately just couldn't quite stop the car, and then went into the side. It looked like he'd avoided it, but unfortunately went into the side of finish track, which forced him to spin around the corner. Very unfortunate there for the Scottish driver who's in this series, having lost a seat in the GP4 OC after a disappointing season for Sauber. And it was, you can see Rick Jan, I mean, he tried to stop the car. I believe that was Maturin on the inside actually managed to just about stop it through the corner, but he got caught up in it. Zafri managed to get through as well. And a lot of drivers moving up and down the order. Been a very dramatic start to this race as they go through into the first part of the stadium section. As here is Maturin right at the back of the field as we look at Federer, who sets another fastest lap, a 1:24.4, but Dobos just beats that with a 1:24.1 as Zafri has gone wide coming into the penultimate corner, and he is spun round and he looks like he's going to drop to the back to not a good start that Asel Zafri wanted to this season. He's going to drop all the way to last place. How unfortunate is that? As he drops all the way down to last place. There's been a few movements in the top 10, as you can see. He seemed to make it through okay the corner originally, but then just went a bit wide, got a lot of understeer, and went onto the drag strip, or the AstroTurf / drag strip that is there at this Hockenheim circuit. So he rejoins well down the order, or in last place, well away from the rest of the field. That is not the way that Zafri would have wanted to have started the season, but he's still going at least. And now here is Ivoba battling for second place, I believe. And that's Levente Dobos has got through. Levente Dobos has got through. I thought there looked to be a change in order, and I said he was battling, but only because I thought Dobos wasn't actually overtaking him. I thought he was close behind, but Dobos makes the move coming into the hairpin, and he moves up into second place. That's a good move there by the Hungarian driver. Bobo will want to try and get back at that and try and move up more places, so we will see how that works out as they come into the first part of the stadium section. Bobo is right behind. Will he make a move? I'm not sure. As here's Rumble with Griffiths, who loses it. He goes onto the curb. He loses a place to Zemsik and Martinez, and he drops down to 19th place. 19th place. Oh, it looks like there was contact there from Zemsik, and that forced him to go wide. So that was a bit quite brutal there from Zemsik. Just kind of bashes him out the way, coming into the corner there. But he manages to, he loses 2 positions, Griffiths, but he could have been a whole lot worse. He could have lost out on the races. Here's Victor Bobo trying to overtake Levente Dobos for second place. Coming into the hairpin, they re-overtake each other, and that's going to give a chance for Federer to get away, although he's not exactly getting a big gap on these two out in front. It does seem to be closing, so we'll see how that goes as Dobos tries to make a move coming into the first part of the stadium section, but it just doesn't quite work out for him there. As they come through, as here we're on board. As here is Saatchi battling with Hakim Sam, and there's contact, and Hakim Sam spins round, and there's contact from behind. He's been hit by about 3 cars there, and they've all managed to get through without any damage somehow. And Sam, unfortunately, is going to drop rapidly down the order. He's going to have to let all these cars go by him before these straights. That is not going to be good for Sam. That has probably ruined his chance of getting any points in this race. It's been quite an instant-filled race so far. And no retirements as of yet, as Sam rejoins the circuit in last place. You see, he was right behind Saatchi. Saatchi was already defending, and unfortunately Sam just clipped the end of Saatchi's car. That left him nowhere to go. Very unfortunate there. As now Levente Dobos and Victor Bobo are once again battling for second place. And Levente Dobos is going to make a move into the hairpin. And does he make it stick? And it looks like he will, and he does make it stick. And Federer, you can see out front, just currently coasting in the gap, but Bobo trying to get back. He'll have a run coming into the next left-hander into the first part of the stadium section. Will he try and make a move? The answer is no, he doesn't. It's kind of tricky to overtake there, to be fair, as Bobo now trying to make a move coming into the right-hander. There's contact, and if Bobo has just about kept the car on the road, and I think Dobos has, and Dobos just about keeps the second place, but that's going to give Federer a chance to properly get away now. He's already got a fair bit of a gap in front. Yeah, you can see here there's just a bit of contact. It wasn't really on that move, and I thought Dobos had gone way off the circuit, but he just about managed to control the car. So well done to Levente Dobos, and well done to Bobo as well, who just about managed to stop the car from spinning. But this battle is still going on as they come onto the straight. Federer's still got a comfortable lead here, so this is working out all very well for him. They're well away from the rest of the pack are these two, as it's side by side between Bobo and Dobos coming into the hairpin. And is he going to make the move stick? And I don't think he is. I think he's backed off, and Dobos has still got the second place. He backed off just before the hairpin, and the battle will still resume. As now here we are looking at Killy Bryce behind Saatchi, sorry, not Starchy. As is he going to make a move? They're teammates actually, these two, as you can see inside the car. Starchy the number 51 and Bryce the number 58. So let's see how if Bryce will make a move coming into the hairpin, and it's just about to go side by side, going through 5th gear, going very close, going at 332 kilometers an hour, over 200 miles an hour in these cars. That's absolutely ridiculous. And Bryce makes the move into 6th place, ahead of Sarchi. And that means that gives a chance for Lovers behind to catch up, and maybe it does Bright. And Bright gets into the back of the car in front of him of Lovers, and he manages to make his way through, but Lovers will not be happy with that at all. And you can see that car, unfortunately Bright just couldn't really stop going into the corner there, and just went into the back of Lovers, who in turn went wide coming out of the hairpin. And now is he going to make a move back, and Lovers actually makes the move back on Bright. And so he moves into 8th places. Here is Julius Anderson battling with Killian Bryce for 5th place. Bryce, who got past Sarchi just a lap ago, and Bryce moves up into the top 5 for the first time. So a good move there by the British driver, who was racing for Virgin last season, but unfortunately has not got a seat in the series. Well, he actually has got a test seat at McLaren, so he's still in the series somewhat, but this is his full-time series. You can say here's a battle between I believe this is Zemsic and Farina, and Farina spun going into turn 1. That's quite a dodgy place to go, and Strachan and Anderson just avoiding there. So does Maturin. That was fortunate there for Farina. He was battling Zemsic, and he just went wide, looks like, going into the first corner. He missed the apex completely there, and that just put him right on the Astra there. You have to really hit that apex going into turn 1 if you really want to make the corner. If you don't, then you're bound to go wide, and that's exactly what happened, as Farina has to let all the cars go by. They all have to slow down in avoidance so they don't run into the front of Farina's car and get him out the race. As he goes through, and he's going to drop all the way to last place, and he drops behind Arlo Jones, as he does make a bit of a does make it a lot more tricky, I should say, to rejoining the circuit there. As now Bryce moves up into P4. Now he moves past Julius Anderson for P4. So this is a good race so far from Kenny Bryce. He's really moving up the order as he goes past. It wasn't Julius Anderson, actually. It was Zolga, I should say. My apologies, because he passed Julius Anderson a few laps ago. And he goes past Zolga for 4th place. Here's Hakan Sam, who's trying to get past Azul Zafri for 19th place. As look at that, 340 kilometers an hour, and he's on the inside of Zafri, but Zafri is defending, going into the hairpin, and there was contact there. There was contact, and I think has Sam made the move stick? No, he hasn't. Zafri just keeps that. See what happened. I mean, Sam was turning the corner as much as he could. Zafri didn't exactly give him much room there, but they managed to make the corner in the end. But Sam, unfortunately, doesn't make the move stick, and he's stuck down in 20th place. This is not where he needs to be, as Finlay Strachan comes in for, I believe, the first pit stop of the GP4 DTM Offline Championship. So let's see how quick the stop will be for Strachan coming to pits. Most of the time will be a one-stop race, just a stop to the end, but depending on fuel, they may have to do 2 stops. But Strachan comes out, does a 6.96 stop. Oh, he has to wait, I think, for a car to go past. I think that was Arlo Jones. So that's held up Strachan quite it's certainly cost him a few seconds there. So that might cost him a position or two coming out onto the track, depending on how his outlaps are. So let's see how they do. And Arlo Jones comes out in last place at the moment in time, as Etienne Jones, I don't believe they are related, comes out just in front. And oh, Lovers has gone off into turn 1, and Bright's gone past, and so has Sarchi has come around. He once again missed the apex for turn 1, and that set him wide onto the curbs, and he almost goes into the path of Sarchi and Bright there. Almost a collision. Fortunately, they did get away with it, but that could have been a lot worse, as Bright tries to make a move on Sarchi coming into the second corner as they come through turn 3 and now onto the back straight for the first time. Come onto the back straight, I should say, just behind each other, but Bright is going to have the slipstream on Sarchi coming into the hairpin. And is he going to make the move stick coming into the hairpin? And it's side by side, and Sarchi's not exactly giving him much room, but Bright has made the move stick for 7th place, I believe that was, as Bright moves up to 7th place, the American driver. A good move from him. But will Sarchi try and make a move back later on in the lap? I mean, there's not really that many chances to overtake aside from turn 2 and the hairpin, really, as Zolga's in the pits. Now here's Leventi Dolbos, who's attacking. This is for the lead of the race, and he's actually caught up Federer, so he managed to overtake a Bobo, and who is managed to absolutely drop him, and Leventi Dolbos is going to take the lead of this race. So Dobos has done a fantastic job in reeling in Federer, who didn't get away despite them battling, but it's just about still side by side. But Federer's trying to battle back, but he's not going to make the move stick there, so he's going to have to concede the position there. But he could still get it back later on in the lap, but we'll see. As now Leventi Dobos does come into the pits for his first stop of the race, so it looks like Federer has stayed out on track. Let's see how quick this stop will be for the Hungarian driver. This will be crucial. Will the, well, I don't know if you could really call this an undercut, as he did just take the lead, but you could still call it an undercut to make sure that he does stay out in the lead. But as he comes out the pits, as Sarchi comes into the pits himself, goes down to 80 kilometers an hour. Let's see how quick the stop will be for the Swedish driver. So he comes into the pits, as Zemsik is in the pits behind as well. And let's see how quick the stop will be for the Swedish drivers. Here is Zemsik in the pits as well. And let's see how quick the stop will be for the Russian. And it's a 6 second dead stop, I should say. As now Cameron Anderson is in the pits, the British driver, with Finnish Strachan alongside him in the team. As now Bright comes into the pits for Team MTEK. Let's see how quick the stop will be. And it's going to be probably quite a quick stop, and it is a 6.9 second stop for the American. And he comes out the pits. Let's see where he will come out on track. There's still a few drivers who haven't pitted yet. Jordan Maturin, former Virgin driver, comes into the pits. He doesn't have a seat at all in the top tier. He's only got this actually seat, I believe, the DTM seat. Unlike Bryce, who's actually got a test drive, who's actually the test driver for McLaren in the top tier. Let's see how quick this stop will be. It's a 8.1 second stop, so that was quite slow actually there for Maturin. I guess maybe they were fueling him up a lot to the end of the race, maybe, I don't know. But it was quite a long stop, but that's lost him, I think, probably a position or two. Here is Griffiths trying to get past, I believe it's this Bryce in front. I'm not quite sure as they go into the hairpin. Is it going to be contact? Griffiths turns into the corner, and he does just about keep alongside. As you see, Federer's in the pits, and no, it's not Bryce, it's Bright, sorry, and he actually does back up. As now Federer does come into the pits from the lead of the race. So will Leventi Dobos still get out in front of him? That will be the interesting question. So Federer comes out of the pits. Now Anderson is battling with Dobos coming into turn 1. Is that going to have an effect? It's going to be very tight, but I think Dobos is going to get it. Is he? It's side by side. They're right next to each other coming out the pits. But has Dobos got it? I think, has he? I don't think he has. No, he's not. And that battle might have just cost Dobos the chance of getting in front of Federer. So that overcut, you could say, by Federer actually worked in the end, but that was fortunately due to him battling with Julius Anderson. But Bobo has himself got to pit as well. There's Zemsik locking up, coming into turn 2 in a battle with Hakim Sam, as he drops down to 16th place there. It looked like Zemsik did seem to come right in front of Sam there. Maybe he just didn't realise that he was there, but I think that was a bit unfortunate there for Sam. He didn't really have anywhere to go in that situation. But anyway, the cars continue on the track. As here is Sarchi attacking Martinez for 12th place. And let's see if he can make the move coming into the hairpin. It is very close. Is there any contact? No, there isn't. He's made the move stick to 12th. That was a good, clean driving there by Sarchi. And he makes the move over to 12th place. But now he's being attacked once again as they head into the first part of the stadium section. As we look at Leventi Dobos, who's attacking Federer, so even though this is technically second, it's still technically the battle for the lead of the race, as Victor Bobo, I believe, still has yet to Victor Bobo is still yet to stop, so he's really going long in this stint. Let's see if that actually works out for him. We will see, as Leventi Dobos has made the move stick at a very, but it's just about side by side. But I think he's going to have to give it to him there. Federer, he's not going to make the move stick there, but Federer is right behind Dobos coming into turn 2. And it's very tight between the two. Federer's on the inside, and he's made the move back. Has he kept it though? Dobos keeping it around the outside, side by side. Great racing between the two, and Federer has got second place, as Leventi Dobos is right behind him, and he's going to keep it. But Dobos is going to do a little switchback, and he's going to take the lead back into the hairpin if he's just about alongside, or if he breaks later into the hairpin. And it's going to be side by side coming into the hairpin, and there was so nearly contact. They were brushing each other there through the corner, but Dobos has got it back. Great battling between these two for the lead, as now Bryce is battling with coming into the hairpin, and he takes 5th place away. Good move there by the British driver. As Griffiths, you can see, is in the pit lane, and Victor Bobo finally pits on lap 24 of the race. That is certainly a very, very late pit stop. Let's see if this works out for him or not. And it's a 5.8 second stop, so it's a pretty quick one. But there go, I believe, that is Dobos and Federer. So it's not exactly worked out for Bobo, but he'll still get third. But he still could catch up as he's going to be on much fresher tyres, so he can really push in the last laps of the race. However, if Federer and Dobos battle like they are now, then that could make the job easier for for Bobo, excuse me, to battle at the end of the race. And let's see if Federer will make a move coming into the hairpin. He's right behind him, and is he going to make a move into the hairpin on Dobos? But Dobos defends, but Federer still is trying to squeeze his way through. Is there going to be contact? There was contact, and that lifted Dobos off the ground. And Federer makes the move stick for the lead, as there's Bobo, who is going to be closing on these guys. But wow, very, very tight action there, and Federer was on the inside. He really wanted that, and you could say that Dobos tried to turn in too early on Federer. He tried to do, essentially, you could say, like a Schumacher on a Villeneuve, and now Dobos comes in. I don't know if this is, I think this is his first stop of the race, because he was running in fourth, and he was running earlier on around about the, just inside the points, which, by the way, the point system for this season, I believe it's like last season, is what is first place to 8th is who gets the points. Same as obviously the GP4 OC as well. Rick Yarn's in the pits, Hakim Sam in the pits as well. Been a very, very good race so far. Still no retirements at the moment. All 22 cars are still running this race, which is making some great entertainment for the fans as Hakim Sam comes into the pits for his final stop of the race. Let's see how quick the stop will be for the team. Team Apt. And it's a 6.86 stop. Luca Farina comes into his final stop of the race. He's unfortunately going to be in last place. It's not been a great race for him. So now here is the battle between Levente, Dobos and Federer. It's still been going on. It's been going on this whole race, really. And now Victor Bobo is actually closed up to these guys. So it has worked out pretty well for Bobo in the end. And he could have an opportunity to overtake if they hold each other a lot coming through turn 2. And here is Bobo. He's right there now. And this is his perfect opportunity as Federer's got a poor run out of turn 3. And now Bobo is going to make a move coming into the hairpin. It's going to be side by side on the straight. Is Bobo just there? He's not quite alongside, but is he going to make the move into the hairpin? And he's just alongside. Is there going to be contact? No, there isn't. As here's Etienne Jones and Griffiths battling 16th place, as Hakim Sam actually sets the fastest lap of the race, interestingly enough. He's running quite low down the aisle. I think he's running in like 20th place, I think. As Jones and Griffiths were coming together. I didn't actually touch, but unfortunately Jones went wide coming into the hairpin. And Sam, I believe, he is in 20th place. And there he is there, and he just zooms past Zafri, showing his pace. Who just passes his lap, Hakim Sam, but Zafri tries to attack back. But he can't quite do it. As they head onto the straight, Zafri is right behind. As Sam is now attacking Finley Strachan in front of him. Strachan, who's not had a particularly great race, particularly good race himself. And now it's going to be side by side between Hakim Sam and Finley Strachan coming into the hairpin. And Sam gets it done for 18th place. Good move there by the Swedish driver for App Sport. As now here's a battle between Zolga and it looks like Julius Anderson. As is there going to be contact between the two? It looks like it looks like they've avoided contact, and Anderson completes the move ahead of Ryan Cooper. As now Strachan looks to run wide, I think, coming out of the penultimate corner. He does. He went onto the curb there, and that unsettled the car a lot. And he went over the curb onto the Astro/drag strip. Well, not Astro, I should say, the runoff area. As now here's Victor Bobo attacking. It looks like this is Federer for second place, and Bobo makes the move into the first corner, and Federer goes off, and Federer spins, and he's surely lost any chance of getting the race win now. Is he going to stay in third place? Because now here comes, I believe that is Kellyan Bryce, and he is, and he's overtaken him. That was unfortunate there for Federer, but he went wide and unfortunately lost the car. He managed to rejoin, so there wasn't, unfortunately, it hasn't been anyone near these top 3 because they've got away from the rest of the field. But unfortunately for Federer, he has lost third place to Kellyan Bryce, so we'll see if he can get that back before the end. But any chance of a win now for the Italian driver has surely gone out of the window. Very unfortunate there for the Italian driver. But now Victor Bobo has taken the lead. Bobo has taken the lead. How's that happened? And what's going on here? And Dobos went wide. He went wide himself. going into the first corner, and Ibobo caught up to him because he had so much momentum, and he passed him. Unbelievable scenes, and Victor Ibobo has taken the lead of the race. I can't quite believe what has been happening here, and Ibobo in just a few seconds goes from third to first place. Wow, so it looks like that strategy has worked out a treat for him. So now here's Hockenheim, who's on a mission as Jones has spun off coming into turn 2, and he's unfortunately going to drop to the back of the field. Not been a good race for the British driver. And oh, there was contact there from, who was that? I'm not quite sure who that is. Oh, that was Luca Farina, and Farina just went to the back of him there, and Farina just about managed to control the car himself, but unfortunately for Jones, it has not worked out very well for him. And now here is a battle between, it looks like Kuba and Zolga for 6th place, but Kuba doesn't particularly get a good run. And now Julius Anderson is right behind as he was trying to attack Zolga coming into turn 1. It's not worked out for him, and Kuba's going to lose a place here to Julius Anderson. Good move there by the German, who, by the way, is not obviously related to Cameron Anderson, as they are different nationalities. So there was a lock up there by, I believe that was, I'm not sure actually sure who that was, unfortunately, but Kuba comes through and he moves up to 6th place. As I believe, let's have a look who that was actually in front, because the car did lock up quite significantly going into the hairpin, and Kuba actually took the chance very, very well. And good move there by the Congolese driver. I see it is Ferry now attacking Bryce once again for 3rd place, trying to get it back as he makes the move stick, and it was actually Zolga that Kuba overtook for 6th place. And oh, Federer's lost another place. He's lost it to Eli Bright. He went wide, I believe, trying to overtake. He got held up there, and Bright, who was not close behind, got a much better run. Proves how bad it is if you get a poor run out the first corner. That means you could be absolutely duped coming into turn 2. And we've only got 3 laps to go, but this battle for 3rd place is going to be on before the end of the race between Bryce, Bright and Federer. Kuba has moved up 12 positions. He's moved up from 18th to 6th, so that is very, very impressive. And now Julius Anderson is under pressure from Saatchi behind us. Saatchi's going to make the move for 8th place for the final point spot, and he moves up into 8th place, the position that he started, as there is Zemsik in 10th place, trying to hold his position. As now Bright trying to get past Federer, who I believe has got back past Bright, so something that we haven't seen. And let's have a look at this, and yes, it was so. Federer got a run coming out of the straight, and he made a move into the hairpin, and he makes the move stick, and he moves up to 4th place, and now he'll go back after Bryce for 3rd place. So will he be able to get a podium out of this? That would be, I suppose, something for Federer, but he will be disappointed he couldn't have won this race. We're now on to lap 35. The laps are tumbling down here, and now Federer, now he's under attack from Bright, who's trying to defend, and there was contact there between Bryce and Federer, and Bryce goes wide, and Bright makes his way through, so Federer still hasn't got on the podium. And this is quite fantastic racing here, but Federer is so desperate to get through, he just pummeled the back of Bryce there, who went well off the track. He managed to stop it from spinning, but unfortunately for Federer, he's not got 3rd, because Bright managed to sneak through both there. Good move there by the American driver. Very good there. With just 2 laps to go, so this race is on, as now Julius Anderson is trying to make a move. And oh my goodness me, there's contact there, and he's hit both Zolga and Kuba in front of him, and he's taken the positions, and he's moved up to 7th place. Wow, that was quite a bit. He just pummeled into the back of Zemsik, not Zemsik, as Zolga, and then Kuba there, and he's moved up to 7th place. That was quite brutal there by Anderson, and it wasn't actually Kuba, it was actually Saatchi, but Kuba was actually in front in 6th place, so I do apologise, but that was a bit bad driving there by him there, as Saatchi and Zolga both lose places, but that was not particularly good driving there from Anderson. I wonder if he'll get a penalty after that. We're not sure, as his lovers trying to get past Zolga for 8th place, and Zolga loses a position. Saatchi loses a position to Rick Jan behind, and the action is all going off here in the last 2 laps of this race. Zemsik now trying to make a move as well, and there's a lock up there, and they've just about managed to control it, and there's a yellow flag out somewhat. There's a car off, and that's Cameron Anderson, who's gone off at the first corner. All the action here happening in the last 2 laps of this race. This has been a fantastic race here, as Cameron Anderson rejoins in 19th place. But here is your race leader, Victor Ibobo. His strategy of running long in the race worked out an absolute treat, and Victor Ibobo comes round the penultimate corner, and now he comes round the final corner, and Victor Bobo wins the first race of the GP4 DTM Offline Championship at Hockenheim. Congratulations to him. 53 minutes that was. Jones comes home 20th, Strachan 21st, and Jones 22nd, meaning all cars have finished this race. Dobos comes home 2nd. Eli Bright is going to come home in 3rd. Very unfortunate there for Federer, and after all that, he's not going to be able to get a podium. He'll be pretty annoyed under that helmet at the end of this race. It's just not worked out for him very well. He could have been fighting for the win, but instead he got involved in a bit of a collision at the front. As now Kenny Bryce will come home in a creditable 5th place. Kuba will come home in 6th. A great race by Ryan Kuba, who came up 12 places from 18th, so it's a very good recovery by the Congolese driver as he comes across the line. Julius Anderson will come home in 7th place, although that is temporary, as he could be moved down the order depending on if he gets a penalty for that collision with Sarchi and Zolga. So we will find out as Lubbers comes home in 8th place. Rick Jan comes home in 9th. Zemsik comes home in 10th. Zolga comes home in 11th, just ahead of Maturin in 12th. And Sarchi in 13th, so that's unfortunately not worked out particularly well for him. San comes home in 14th place. Griffiths is set to come home in 15th, and he comes across the line in 15th place. Martinez 16th, just ahead of Zafri 17th, and 18th is Luca Farina. 19th place will be Cameron Anderson, who spun with 2 laps to go. He would have finished quite a few places higher, but that has been the first race, and what a race that was. Victor Bobo takes the first win of the season. Here's the full race results. Bobo wins by 7 seconds. Dobos 2nd, Bright 3rd, Federer 4th, Bryce 5th, Kuba 6th, Anderson 7th, Lubbers 8th, Jan 9th, Zemsik in 10th, Zolga in 11th, and as we look further down the order, we have Maturin in 12th place, 13th place is Sarchi, 14th place is Hakim Sam, 15th place is Owen Griffiths, 16th place is Diego Martinez with Zafri just behind him in 17th, 18th place is Luca Farina, and 19th place was Cameron Anderson, with 3 drivers being a lap down: Arlo Jones, Finley Strachan, and unfortunately, of course, Etienne Jones. So for the 2 Jones drivers, it didn't go very well, but all cars actually finished the race as well, which is quite significant, which I don't believe has actually happened in the DTM Championship before, so I believe that is a first in this series. As we will now look at the fastest lap of the race. Sam said it with Dobos in 2nd, Bobo 3rd, Farina 4th, Zafri 5th, Lubbers 6th, Bright 7th, Federer 8th, Kuba 9th, Jan 10th, Anderson 11th, Bryce 12th, Martinez 13th, Zemsik 14th, Maturin 15th, Griffith 16th, Zolga 17th, Anderson 18th, Sarchi 19th, Strachan 20th, Jones 21st, and Arno Jones 22nd. Obviously, those 2 were actually quite far off the pace compared to the others, so I don't think it was actually that much of a surprise that they were in near the back. So as you can see here at the standings, so obviously Bobo 1st, Dobos 2nd, Bright 3rd, Federer 4th, Bryce 5th, Kuba 6th, Anderson, as you can see at the moment of the screen, it was given a 10-second penalty, so he was in the end dropped behind Lubbers and Jan. So Lubbers was at 7th and Rick Jan in 8th, Anderson was 9th, Zemsik 10th, Zolga 11th, Maturin 12th, Sarchi 13th, Sam 14th, Griffiths 15th, Martinez 16th, Zafri 17th, Farina 18th, Anderson 19th, Arlo Jones 20th, Finley Strachan 21st, and Etienne Jones 22nd. Well, I hope you enjoyed the first race of the season here of the DTM Offline Championship. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you for the next round of the championship at the Brno circuit in the Czech Republic. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you there.